Good morning. My name is Becky Bauer. I'm a retired school teacher here in Kentucky, and I would like to share my story of how the Heiser Hearing Clinic literally saved my life. 4 years ago, I had just finished treatment for breast cancer, chemo, and radiation, and I was so excited, so I wanted to go somewhere. So I called up my son, who lives in Seattle, Washington, and told him I was coming out. I flew out there, had been there 1 hour when we were downtown, and he was pointing up to his office building, and I never saw the 3 concrete steps in front of me. And when I fell, I did not know I was falling. I didn't know what had happened. I never touched the steps. I just went head first, and the first thing that hit was this left cheekbone. The paramedics came. It was that bad. Did not break this cheekbone. I don't know how, but I did break my nose and my glasses, and I was bleeding from all sorts of areas for scrapes. And when I finally got home with my son, I thought the worst was over. I had survived this terrible fall. Little did I know that 8 months later, a true nightmare would come from this fall. It started in March, and I started getting dizzy, which is not too very unusual for me. But then I started noticing it was happening more and more, and it was getting worse. Until finally, I was dizzy 24/7. I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't drive. I ended up being a hermit. We tried different doctors. They checked, obviously, my ears first. No issues there. We did CAT scans. We did MRIs. Nobody had any answers. I was sitting at home, totally lost and depressed. Through a series of events, someone told me about the Heiser Hearing Clinic. And I came, and Dr. Ingrid Edwards performed tests for 3 hours, and at the end of it told me what I had and what I needed to do to get better. She diagnosed me with BPPV, which is a positional vertigo. Since both of my ears were affected, I will have this the rest of my life. I'm not dizzy all the time, but it will reoccur. She was amazing. I can now drive. I can now go to movies before I could not. The sensory also affects the gel in my ears. They had moved in the fall. And she uses maneuvers that uses gravity, and she moves that gel to where it's supposed to be. And I have been coming here for 3 years, and I cannot tell you enough how much they saved my life. This was in some ways worse than the chemo and the cancer, because we didn't know what this was. It wasn't going away. And now I function normally, and it's all due to the Heiser Hearing Clinic. So if you ever have a fall, and a few months later, it takes about 6 or 8 months for it to occur, you start getting dizzy, please come visit the Heiser Hearing Clinic and see if they can help you. Thank you for listening to my story.